So let's look at Pascal's principle. Pascal's principle states that when a pressure is applied to a liquid in a closed container, the pressure is transmitted equally in all directions throughout the fluid. This is as a result of the inability to compress liquids. So when you exert a pressure on a fluid, it is transmitted equally in all directions. So Pascal is of the view that if I have a balloon such as this, I fill this balloon with water, and after filling it, I apply a certain force on it. I try to squeeze this balloon. When this happens, this force that I am applying will result in a pressure that will distribute equally throughout the water. So if I should make holes of equal diameters on this balloon, they will all exit at the same pressure. So this will have a certain pressure, this one pressure 2, pressure 3, pressure 4. What Pascal is saying is that the pressure from the hole 1 is equal to the pressure in the second one, equals to the third one, and is equal to the fourth one. So this is all what Pascal was trying to say. And this principle is applied in so many devices in our homes and in the industry. Today we will be looking at 3 major applications of Pascal's principle in our everyday life. But before we look at those 3 major applications, let's look at the hydraulic system and explain how it works, because this hydraulic system is what is used in these devices and it is an application of Pascal's principle. Hydraulic systems are machines that are used to convert relatively smaller forces to a much greater forces to overcome a task. This is a typical hydraulic system. It is designed such that this area will be filled with a certain fluid. One side of the system would have a small area or cross-sectional area, and the other side will also have a much wider surface area. Let me call those 1 and 2. Now this is the point of application of the force. I'm going to apply a certain force F1 to overcome or lift a car that I cannot, on a normal day, I cannot just lift it with my hand. So what happens here is that when I apply this force and area result in a certain pressure, and this pressure is built up in this region. Now according to Pascal's, this pressure will be distributed equally throughout the fluid. So the pressure here would also appear here. Therefore the pressure P1 would be equal to the pressure P2, because Pascal says that the pressure will be distributed equally throughout the fluid. Now when this happens, I have a pressure which has the same value as that is coming from here where I apply the force, and I have an area. Now what will be the force that will result from this pressure and this area? The pressure as obtained in the second region is equal to the force divided by area, but we don't know this force. That is what we are yet to determine. But Pascal says that the pressure here and the pressure here are equal. So let's see how we find the force at the output end. So knowing that P1 equals to P2, therefore I can say that F1 over A1 equals to F2 divided by A2, all we need to do is to make F2 the subject. So making F2 the subject, I'm going to get F2 to be equal to A2 over A1 multiplied by F1. So anytime you apply a certain force at the input, the cross-sectional area at the output is known and the cross-sectional area at the input is known. You can use this relation to find the force that is resulting at the other end. So let's say I am applying a force of 10 newtons and the area here is, let's say, 2 meters. If this small area is 2 meters, let's assume this side is 5 meters. If I apply this force, what will be the output force that lifts this car? So since we've obtained that F2 equals to A2 over A1 multiplied by the input force, I know I'm going to get my F2 to be A2, which is 5, divided by A1, which is 2, multiplied by F1, which is 10. So this is going to give me 50 divided by 2, and 50 divided by 2 is 25 newtons. So this tells us that if I apply a force of 10 newtons at a cross-sectional area of 2 meters, and at the output I have a cross-sectional area of 5, I'm getting an output force of 25 newton. You could see clearly that though the difference in area is very small, but look at the difference in the force. So when you apply a small force, it can overcome an object with a greater force. So this is an application of Pascal's principle. The pressure obtained here is transmitted to the other side, but here the area have been increased, which will result in an increase in the force to consolidate or to make up for the pressure. So basically this is how all hydraulic systems work. So we are going to discuss 3 hydraulic systems. The first one is the hydraulic car brake. The second one is the hydraulic press. And the third one is the hydraulic jack or the hydraulic lift. So this is how a typical hydraulic brake system looks like. We have the brake here, the brake pedal is here. Then we have a lever here which makes sure that the brake or this joint turns easily. Then we have this we call the main cylinder or the primary cylinder. So you have the primary cylinder. Then we have the secondary cylinder here. So this is the brake system. This is the car rim. The car rim, the metal rim inside of the wheel. So we call it the wheel rim. Then we have these two structures, we call them the brake shoe. So how am I able to stop a very heavy car loaded with goods? By simply pressing on this small pedal. Now when I press on this pedal, I apply a force that is transmitted into this cylinder by this lever system. So a certain force F1 results in a certain pressure P1 as a result of the area inside of this region. So the force and area here create a pressure, and this pressure will be distributed equally until it gets here. But then here the area is greater. So the area being greater, as we have seen in the hydraulic system, the bigger area will result in a greater force. So this force acts in opposite direction and push this shaft so that it push against this brake shoe. So when you press and the fluid comes, we call it the brake fluid. Brake fluid. So the fluid will come down here with the same pressure from the primary cylinder, but when it gets here, because of the area being wider, a greater force will be exerted on these two shafts. So this force will be exerted or be transmitted to the brake shoe, and the brake shoe will press on the rim of the car, and the car would be able to stop. So this is basically how the hydraulic brake system works. This other end goes to the other wheel. This goes to the other wheel. So it has two wheels. When you press on this, the pressure that is generated here will be transmitted into this one and into the second wheel, and whatever happened in this one is the same thing that is going to happen in the second one. So this is the hydraulic brake system. So let's look at how the hydraulic press works. How does Pascal's principle apply in a hydraulic press? Now, hydraulic press is such that there is always a small cylinder where you apply. If I should pull this one down, it will push this piston downwards. So there will be a force applied here, and the area here is very small. It will result in a pressure that will be transmitted through this pipe into this. So when it comes here, it comes out at the pressure being equal from here to there, but here the area is greater, and a greater area requires a greater force. So this will also result in the area, in the pressure being greater than the applied force. So small force being applied here, this is a reservoir where the pressure will be sucked into the small piston, and then after usage in the bigger cylinder, it releases back into the reservoir. So basically this is how a hydraulic press works, and mostly we use them in pressing objects in the industry. If I want to press in soap manufacturing, in mechanics, in car mechanics, in so many applications. So if I want to press this material, I'll press on this, apply a certain force, much smaller. Because of this area, it generates a pressure. This pressure is transmitted into this cylinder, and the pressure together with the area results in an output force which is much greater than the input force because of the difference in the areas. Similarly, in a hydraulic car jack, we have fluids that are reserved inside the sides, and this one is the bottle type that we normally use for cars. The bottle type. The reservoirs are here, which are transmitted into this small cylinder. Now when I push down on this handle, with a certain force, F1, it pushes down the fluid here downwards, and the area here is much smaller. So the force and the area result in a certain pressure that travels through this pipe or this channel into this region. And because this has a much wider or much bigger area, the pressure here and the area will result in a much greater force that pushes this piston upwards. So if you have your car on top of this, it will successfully push the car upwards so that you can work on it. So this is basically how Pascal's principle is used in these equipment and these machines. So don't forget to find the output force. It follows the ratio of the output cylinder, area of the output cylinder, by the area of the input multiplied by the input force, and this would always give you the force out at the output. Now with this relation, a question can ask in any form. You can be given the output force and you'll be asked to find the input or anything at all in this formula.